Okay, go in here in a second. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 13th River Falls City Council meeting. First thing we'll do is stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amy, can we have a roll call, please?
Bierstead,
Here.
York,
Here.
Carroll,
Here.
Downey,
Here.
Morset,
Here.
Odine, here, Page.
Here.
Okay, next I have approval of minutes from the April 22nd meeting.
I move approval. Second.
First and second on the minutes. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, we gotta do roll call.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Go ahead, we gotta do roll call.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
York,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Odine, Downing.
Yes.
Thank you. Next we have approval of bills with Councilmember Dowling.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I move approval of the bills in the amount of $2,808,269.69, subject to the comptroller.
Second.
First, second on bills. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Amy, I keep forgetting.
It's okay.
Hard to get out of the habit.
Yep.
Morset,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Odine. Yes.
Okay. Next, move on to public comment. This is where if anybody in the audience has anything like to say, come on up. Just should be a sheet up there to sign in with the name, address, phone number. 2 minutes for everybody.
Benjamin Fox, FOCHS, 2529 Powell Avenue. Yesterday I had the occasion of actually touring the police department building, which I have fortunately or unfortunately have never been in before. It's very, following the process, it's amazing how that building functions as a building. It has light in it, it has things, it functions to what the purpose of the things are. And it was interesting to see like the proclamation that the mayor had was all that written on the wall. And it's also Mental Health Month. And you have to realize that the strain that this police department in this town feels as a mental health has kind of degraded across all our communities. And so it's kind of interesting going through there, seeing that they have this Milo machine, which was really cool, like to give you situational awareness. And so it's just, the city should be proud of that building, even though most people won't be in it. And then the second part of that is that you had put art towards that building as part of the thing, as 1% of the budget or whatever it is. And I had noticed that that has not been done yet. I didn't know where the process is of that art, as you're now looking at the library and police station of that River Falls creates, or something that you had as that. So with that, I thank Officer Dunton. I felt like I was co-touring it because apparently I have a lot of knowledge locally. So with that, I thank you and I thank Officer Dunton.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jane Hoffman. I'm the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission, and since May is Historic Preservation Month, I thought I'd give you a quick update about what the commission has been working on. I first want to recognize the HPC members that have collectively contributed over 370 volunteer hours in the last year and a half, demonstrating their commitment to preserving River Falls history for future generations. Our commission members are myself, Casey Radford, Dan Geister, Pam Freedy, Mark Anderson, Julie Hebel, and our staff liaison, Harley Melhorn, and I understand Dr. Page will be joining us this year. Several of the projects we have completed recently at Glover School. We installed at the kiosk sign, a historic sign, updating, explaining the significance of the schoolhouse there. And we recently celebrated 2 properties gaining official recognition not only on the state historic preservation, but also the National Historic Register. That's the J. and Bernice Grimm House on 6th Street and the Roshas and I have to practice her name, G. Bohr Freeman House on 4th Street. Our successful partnership with the River Falls Public Library and the Pierce County Historical Society, we created over the last 2 years 2 displays. The first in the library, the first one was Our City, Our Stories, Diverse Voices from the Past, and we just took down the one was A Spirit of Adventure. We're planning to have another exhibit with the library and continue this partnership when the library renovations are complete. The commissioners have also given numerous historic talks to various civic groups and school classrooms. We also started something called a history chat at the library that's been successful, and we're planning to continue that. Some of our initiatives for next year are we are currently working on an interpretive sign such as the one in that's already in Glen Park about the bridges in River Falls, and we're finalizing the content of that sign. We've also created a comprehensive list of potential new interpretive signs and prioritizing their implementation. In this effort, we've also identified kiosks throughout the city that might be utilized for also historic signage, similar to the one we did in DeSanctis Park. We are working on an inventory of historical items at the power plant and other city locations to create an appropriate care and stewardship plan. A new initiative for 2025 is develop a walking map, and also similarly, it'll be on the web that'll be available for tourists and folks in River Falls to tour. And I just want to thank you for your continued support of the Commission's work. We firmly believe that these efforts not only preserve the community's rich past, but also enrich our present and our future. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
Thanks for your leadership on
Yeah,
that.
thanks for
Committee.
everything you're doing.
My name is Rhonda Klink. I'm at 511 East Johnson Street here in River Falls, obviously. I believe that the police and the city can work together to better serve the city and the citizens. There are several things going in the direction of dismissal, lawlessness, do what I want mentality, bullying, and I just can't stand by any longer. So that's why I'm here. As a homeowner in the city limits, I don't understand why I'm required to make accommodations for nuisances my neighbors keep coming up with to bully me. There, again, like I say, there are numerous things. Lighting, excessive noise, fireworks, walking dogs off the leash, and I get told all the time to mind my own business. So I'm minding my business, and I'm bringing it to the attention of the City Council and to the River Falls Police. I do have a lot more to say than this, but I can't do it all in 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Dana Linscott. I'm the co-coordinator of the River Fall Alliance for the Homeless. Last summer, city staff presented a housing overview to the council. One of the things that was key about it was that there, according to the studies that were provided to River Falls several years ago, there is a severe shortage of low-income housing, deep subsidy and subsidized housing. Afterwards, I requested the number that had that were needed and the number that had been created. And the number that's needed is between 200 and 300. And since those studies in 2017, 5 have been created. Obviously, we're not catching up. And so we need to pivot in somehow from expecting developers to come in and add a few low-income units to what they build, to actually concentrating once again, as River Falls did before, on building subsidized housing. There's a way to do this. There was a template made the last time it was done in River Falls. There are investors that are interested in the tax advantages to investing in something that's much lower return on investment than developers are willing to do, but it requires that the city coordinate with them. I would like to invite those members on the council that have acknowledged that this is a big problem in River Falls and explore how the city can work with local investors once again to create badly needed low-income housing for River Falls. This is not only for people that need it, but it's part of the master plan. Master plan doesn't work with this key piece missing. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I just want to take a minute and recognize Erica Elifson from our Public Works Department. On May 3rd, the River Falls Rotary Club remulched and cleaned up Veterans Park for the summer. And Erica, on a Saturday, came of her own time and brought us 2 loads of wood chips and helped us spread stuff and showed me which end of the rake to use, and that was really helpful. So thank you, Erica. Appreciate it. And in the fall, we will clean it up again. So if you are bored in the fall, let us know because we have lots to do. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Okay, Justin, you want to come on up? There he is. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Tonight is one of those moments where community, service, and hometown pride all come together. And it doesn't sound like, and if that doesn't sound like River Falls, I don't know what does. It's my honor to welcome you to this special occasion as we officially swear in our fire chief, Justin Wilson. Justin isn't just stepping into a title, he's stepping into a legacy. The River Falls Fire Department has stood as a pillar of safety, strength, and neighborly care for over 140 years. And today, we entrust its leadership to someone who's not only earned the respect of his peers, but who has lived and breathed in the department for 12 years. Justin joined the department as a volunteer in 2013 and has served as captain since 2019. In that role, he's led with integrity, empathy, and level-headed decision-making. In 2018, he was named Firefighter of the Year, an honor that pointed not just to his work ethic, but his natural ability to bring people together. And let's not forget, this wasn't just a local appointment. Justin rose to the top in a national search, a testament to his leadership, knowledge, and commitment to River Falls. As we begin a huge renovation of our fire station, his leadership and community-first mindset are exactly what we need. He's a professional in every sense of the word. His background in fire science, his leadership in the private sector, and his deep understanding of how our city works all add up to someone who's ready to lead us forward into the future. So Justin, on behalf of the City Council, our firefighters, and the residents of River Falls, thank you for stepping up. Thank you for serving. We're proud of you and we've got your back. At this time, I'd like to ask the city clerk to come forward and administer the official oath of office to Justin. Let's give a warm welcome to, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right, Justin.
Yep.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Justin Wilson,
Having been appointed to the position of Fire Chief,
having been appointed to the position of Fire Chief,
swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States,
swear that I will support
Constitution.
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of said office
of said office
to the best of your ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Justin.
Okay. Justin, do you have anything you want to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. There's a lot. No, thank you, everybody. It's been a great journey to get here. We've got a great department, great city, and really, really looking forward to this opportunity and being able to continue to serve. And looking forward. We've got a great group behind us here, and really excited. So thank you.
Thank you very much for stepping up. All right. Okay, next we're going to close the council hearing and open a public hearing for ordinance 2025-03. This is annexation of property at 53 Woodridge Drive and 555 Powell Avenue, an application of a future land use classification of medium density residential and a zoning classification of R2 multiple family residence district to the subject property. Is there anybody in the audience that has anything they'd like to say?
Benjamin Fox, FOCHS, 2529 Powell Avenue. The property being annexed, I have a personal connection with. Nearly 24 years ago or so, it was known as the Ordinance Country Club. And it's kind of interesting that these people are now 50 years old. And the stories I could tell you out of that house probably are not fit for public consumption. But as we look at them being 50 years old now, it's not that long until they're 55. And a key part of affordability in River Falls for police department and everything else is density. And so I feel a little concerned that there's a kind of sprawling at medium density when it could be even higher. You have access to Walgreens, everything else there. And then I also have concerns about access of walking there. Collins Park was not connected to Powell Avenue. And so I'd be really cognizant of how you're going to have pedestrian flow through there when you're going to have an aging population of Collinwood and other things going across that bridge to the old coal pack. And so that's my concern there. And it's also my concern with the other annexation that you would be referring to Planning Commission in the future here is how you have traffic on Powell Avenue flow through Collinwood and such things. So thank you.
Yep. Anybody else have anything? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and reopen the council hearing. And
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we adopt ordinance 2025-03.
Second.
first and second, questions or comments? Roll call, please, Amy.
Page,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Caro,
Yes.
Bjork,
Yes.
Bierstead.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, move on to the consent agenda. Resolution for the acceptance of public improvements for the current. Resolution referring to an annexation petition from Rolling Hills Development Incorporated for property at Powell Avenue near North Winter Street to the Plan Commission. Resolution approving development agreement between the City of River Falls and Mega Chef Equipment Incorporated, and a resolution approving purchase agreement with Mega Chef Equipment Incorporated. Resolution 6 and 7 are the purchase of approximately 2.8 acre parcel in the River Falls Industrial Park for $196,000 and development of a minimum 10,000 square foot industrial building valued at a minimum of $750,000. Next one is a resolution approving the 2025 directional boring contract with TD&I Cable Maintenance And the next one is a resolution granting easement to St. Croix Gas. This resolution authorizing the city administrator to execute a 10-foot wide easement through outlet 1 of the Woodridge subdivision at $2 a square foot to be determined once the gas infrastructure is installed. And the last one is a resolution awarding stormwater modeling contract. This authorizes the city administrator to negotiate a contract not to exceed $127,300 for stormwater modeling and analysis with MSA Professional Services. Does anybody want to pull anything?
Mr. Mayor, I need to go ahead and pull 8 due to my employer's
Okay.
relationship with TD9.
Okay, and I'll take a motion on the rest.
I'll move to approve 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10.
Second.
First and second, any questions or comments? Amy?
Downing,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Bjork,
Yes.
Page.
Yes.
And Mr. Carroll, you pulled number 8.
Yeah, for the record, I just wanted to make sure to abstain on number 8, but I move it forward for everyone else.
I'll make a motion for Mr. Carroll, because I got one coming up next. Approving the resolution 2025 directional boring contract with TD&I Cable Maintenance.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Amy?
Carroll,
Abstain.
Downing,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Bjork.
Yes.
Okay, next move on to a resolution approving the banking services for the city of River Falls. This will approve the agreement with Security Financial Bank for the city's banking services. I'll take a motion on this.
Mr. Mayor, I move approval for a resolution approving banking services for the city of River Falls. Second.
First and second, any questions?
I'll need to abstain from this because my employer is one of the options listed.
Okay. Otherwise, no questions. Amy?
Bjork,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Morset,
Abstain.
Odine,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Bierstead.
Yes.
I think we hurt Josh's feelings.
Sorry, Josh, did you want to talk about anything? Oh, you feel free to if you want to.
An update then.
That'll learn you.
Yeah, you gotta be quicker than that.
Update further than what you had you had shared in writing, or?
It's not really, no. Mostly was an opportunity to just provide it, for viewers and folks in the audience. And then if you had questions, I'd be glad to address them. I should be able to zip through this though. Let's see. Just make sure. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so just to let you know what all this is about, I guess. So our banking services include 3 accounts. This is actually not the totality of all of our accounts and deposits that we have as a city. Every year during your organizational meeting as council in April, you approve a list of public depositories, and we have a variety of relationships, deposits, and debt placements and other relationships with all of those institutions that you're approving as part of that annual list of public depositories. So what we're really talking about with this specific approval is our general checking account. So every time you approve bills, payroll, things like that, those are actually just coming out of one giant checking account. And currently it's placed with Security Financial Bank. It has been for the last 10 years. So given that it's been about a decade, that's kind of part of why I just wanted to give a brief overview of this. We hold about $5 to $6 million in that account at any given time. We increased that about 2 years ago, just given the variety of large projects we have going on in the community. It historically had been closer to 4 million that we had in that account, and just because of things like Man Valley, now we'll have fire station and library projects that we anticipate getting very large invoices for. We just want to make sure we have enough cash in that account for all of that activity. So we did increase the amount we hold in there. We do have a grants account. That's frankly more of a federal requirement as we start seeing more of this grant activity come in. They want segregated, separate accounts. So we don't have any money in there right now, but it is established. And then we have a police forfeitures and seizures account that has about $60,000. Again, this goes back to a state statutory change, I believe, where similarly to the grants account, the state actually wants municipalities to have segregated carved out accounts just for that purpose as well. So those are the three accounts we're talking about here. Just some terms that you would have seen in the RFP might make more sense as I go into this a little bit more. So automated clearinghouse, and these are services that we have in our current banking services. So automated clearinghouse or ACH transactions, these get processed about 1 to 3 days to clear. The majority of our transactions out of this general checking account are ACH. We do have the ability to do wire transfers, which are account to account transactions. They get processed the same business day, in some cases within minutes. We do talk about collateralization, and what we mean by that is the security of the funds at the bank where the deposits are being held. So there's $250,000 FDIC insurance. That's I think very similar to what we would all have at our bank accounts. We had that much there. The cities essentially offered the same thing. So then we need additional collateralization up to the amount of deposits that we have in that account, which again is up to $6 million. Remote deposit capture, that's just depositing checks that you might have via photograph or scanning it in. We do also require positive pay, which is a fraud prevention method where banks verify checks presented for payment against a list of checks that we provide them on a monthly basis. And then this was a requirement of the RFP as well. There's something called the Community Reinvestment Act, or CRA. So we did ask the proposers to give us their CRA ratings, and what this is it's a federal law requiring federal regulators to evaluate banks' performances in meeting credit needs of their communities, especially in low to moderate income neighborhoods. These ratings are updated. They're available online to the public, and they're updated roughly every 3 to 4 years. So when it comes to volume in this account, so I kind of gave you the size, I gave you some terms, and now we're just going to talk volume briefly. So we have about 170 to 180 ACH or automated clearinghouse batches per month. Now batches are comprised of any number of transactions per batch. We have fewer than 5 wire transfers per year. Frankly, that's being generous. It's probably more like 1 every 2 to 3 years. It's very uncommon. It does happen for a variety of reasons from time to time, but it's very infrequent. And we do process approximately 1,400 to 1,900 checks per month. These are mostly River Falls Municipal Utilities checks from utilities customers, and we remote deposit them from the office. There's some software that we use. So part of the RFP rather was asking proposers if they are able to integrate with the software that we use for these remote deposits. The rest that aren't remote deposited, we have at City Hall in lock boxes, things like that. It's physically secured on a couple of different levels. Actually, there's a couple layers to it, and then they're physically deposited at the bank. We've got bank slips, bank bags, things like that. Staff are running those over to the bank several times per week. So then getting into the RFP itself, we did issue the RFP to 3 local banks that are approved public depositories. We did receive 2 proposals. And so just to get into the RFP a little bit, just a few more slides. So minimum qualifications are authorized to do business in Wisconsin, provide collateral on the deposits, as I mentioned earlier. And then as I also mentioned, they had to submit their Community Reinvestment Act rating. Additional requirements, this is not exhaustive, but just some of the highlights I wanted to call out. These are kind of the big ones is, do they have some sort of a disaster recovery plan? We've been talking internally more just in today's age of cybersecurity and natural disasters and things of that nature. We want to be really intentional about making sure we've got good disaster recovery plans in place, specifically for our financial operations. And then we did ask for 3 references. A list of fees for all of the services that we spelled out in our RFP that we distributed, and then an ability to meet the local government investment pool rate. So also known as LGIP, because we love acronyms, obviously. So you might hear me say LGIP. That's essentially, if you just want to think of it very simply, which I do, it's just our savings account. So that's at the LGIP. We've got about $30 million there right now. So we're not actually processing any transactions out of, and we've got several accounts there for a variety of reasons. We don't actually process any transactions out of those. We would move money from that into our security financial bank account to ensure that we've got, again, about $5 to $6 million on hand there for all of the transactions we do as a city. We earn about, I check, it varies from month to month in terms of the interest rate you earn at the LGIP. I did check today and we're at about 4.4% right now. So, you know, we would like for our kind of our general checking account to have the same or very similar rate that we would earn at LGIP, so that we're not really punishing ourselves by keeping, you know, enough money on hand to cover invoices and such. So that was an additional requirement in there. So again, I mentioned we got 2 proposals. We did meet. We had a review committee comprised of our deputy comptroller, Councilmember Caro, myself, our account clerk, Bridget Heeb, and then a customer service representative, Wendy Tokheim. Discussion included things like fees assessed by each proposer, interest rates earned on deposits. As I mentioned, we asked them to meet that LGIP rate, ability to meet service needs like electronic banking, collateralization, positive pay, remote deposit. We did talk a little bit about the structure of the collateralization. Essentially, what are they actually collateralizing that money with in terms of short-term treasuries, longer-term treasuries, you know, government-backed mortgage securities, things like that. There's a whole bunch of things that you can collateralize deposits with. So we talked a little bit about that as a group. We didn't get way into the weeds on it, frankly, because both proposers were adequate. We also talked about quality of references, again, excellent. And we got into a very high-level financial information, and it was really more of just a conversation about the institutions themselves, how many branches they have, where they're at geographically, the size of the assets, liabilities, and equity, just again, to just get a general idea of size of institution. And again, both proposers were more than adequate in all of these cases. So then we had 2 high-quality proposals, First National Bank, Security Financial Bank. The fees on an annual basis are below, so we're actually not talking about a large amount of fees. And we based these estimates on both the figures that they provided us for what they charge for all of the services we laid out in the RFP, but also our estimated volume of how much business we do. And then we just kind of computed an estimated annual cost, and it's very close, $1,900 off. Security Financial Bank does currently waive all fees. We had discussions with them. They check in with us roughly monthly. How are things going? Is there a different, you know, are there enhanced products we can offer? Things like that. They had indicated they would be looking into whether or not they would continue to waive fees. Obviously, based on their proposal, they're willing to continue that. So I do have a footnote below the table there. And then when it comes to the interest rates paid on our deposits, Security Financial will match LGIP at 100%. First National is at 90%. And so just given this information, 2 very quality proposals, we do recommend as a committee staying with Security Financial Bank. We would recommend a term of 5 years. That's, like I said, it's been a decade since we last did it. So we would recommend a term of 5 years with an optional 5-year renewal if everything's, you know, going well, and all of that. So that's the recommendation again. And I did just want to wrap up by saying too that again, we do have a list of public depositories that we do a variety of business with. We do actually have a couple of deposits with First National Bank. We have our Section 125 Flex Spending Plan, which Councilmember Downey, I know you had questions about that on the bills for this council meeting. So that's an example of an account that actually does exist at First National Bank already. And then the Housing Authority has an account there as well. All of the rental income coming in and things they do related to maintenance of all the properties go in and out of that account at First National. And then whether it's River Falls State Bank, First National, Security Financial, currently and throughout our history, we've done a variety of debt placements with all 3 of those institutions also. And we would certainly seek to continue to provide our business to all 3 financial institutions and any others that are part of that public deposit list. So with that, I'd be glad to take any questions.
I think we're good, Josh.
Thank
You
you.
did a great job explaining that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next go on to reports. The annual consumer conference report was in the packet. I don't know if anybody has any questions on that. Otherwise, we can move on to the comptroller's report. Diane?
The comptroller's report for April 2025. General fund revenues through the end of April were $4,654,923, or 34.8% of total budgeted revenues for the year. Revenues in April included $247,078 from the Rural Fire Association agreement, $150,244 from Cops in Schools program, and $32,485 from insurance proceeds due to the loss of a police squad car. Expenditures through the end of April were $3,694,120, or 27.6% of total budgeted expenditures for the year. So, as of April 30th, 2025, net revenues over expenditures were $960,803.
Thanks, Diane.
You're very welcome.
Okay, next administrator report. Scott, if you have anything for us or anybody has any questions for Scott?
Thanks, council, for allowing us to support our employees. We had our annual employee appreciation lunch today at Tattersall. A couple of you were in attendance, and so we were able to celebrate some milestone, including Bill Rasmussen. We celebrated 50 years of service to the community. So appreciate your support in helping to build and maintain the great culture here at the city.
Okay. Anybody have anything? Okay. Yep, go ahead, Dave.
Shouldn't we mention that our spring cleanup is coming up?
Yes. Happiest time of the year.
Happiest time of the year, the 19th through the 23rd, yes.
Yeah.
So coming up next week.
Great. I just got a couple of good news reports for May 13th. This week is Police Appreciation Week, which is an annual opportunity to honor, remember, and support our police officers. I wanted to just take a moment to thank the men and women of the River Falls Police Department, past, present, and future, for keeping our community safe. We appreciate all that you do. Next Thursday, May 22nd, is the Summer Starts in the Parks event. This will be the season opener for the splash pad at Glen Park. We'll also have free ice cream for the first 200 attendees, plus games, activities, and food for purchase from food trucks. Come join me and the members of the City Council from 5 to 7 p.m. next Thursday at Glen Park. On Thursday, June 5th, we'll be hosting the first of our several Cookout Conversation, an event we do every summer. The first event will be at the Sanctus Park from 6 to 7:30 on the 5th. This is an opportunity to connect with me and members of the council. Plus, there will be hot dogs, soda, and ice cream sandwiches. Hope to see everybody there. And that was it. Next, we have some proclamations to read. First one we're going to read is the Public Works Week proclamation.
I think you gave that to me, Mr.
Take
Mayor.
yours.
All right, National Public Works Week, May 18th through the 24th. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital importance to the sustainability and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of River Falls. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other infrastructure and facilities, essential for all citizens. And whereas in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the city of River Falls to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore, let it be resolved that Mayor Dan Tolan does hereby designate the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join the representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designated to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life, given under his hand and the seal of the City of River Falls this 13th day of May.
Thank you.
I got the
And-
long one.
Yep. And Mr. Page has got Economic Development Week.
Excellent. Proclamation of Economic Development Week this May 12th through 16th, 2025. Whereas economic developers promote economic well-being and quality of life for their communities by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And whereas economic developers stimulate and incubate entrepreneurism in order to help establish the next generation of new businesses. And whereas economic developers are engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural and urban, local, state, provincial, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions. And whereas economic developers play a crucial role in fostering vibrant communities and improving the quality of life in their regions. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Dan Tolan, do hereby recognize the week of May 12th through 16th, 2025 as Economic Development Week and further extend appreciation to our staff for their exemplary dedication to the community. Given under his hand and seal of the City of River Falls this 13th day of May 2025.
Thank you. And Mr. Downing has Historic Preservation Month.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation designating May as Historic Preservation Month. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth and sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in the River Falls community and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the aspects of the heritage that has shaped the community. And whereas since 1973, the National Trust for Historic Preservation established May as Historic Preservation Month as a way to promote historic places for the purpose of instilling community pride and encouraging heritage tourism. And whereas the Wisconsin Historical Society recognizes May as Historic Preservation Month and sponsors annual events around the state to instill awareness of historic assets in Wisconsin. And whereas the River Falls Historic Preservation Commission have continued to educate and preserve the community's historical assets, including 5 properties in the community added to the National Register of Historic Places. And whereas Historic Preservation Month can bring awareness to the multiple properties in River Falls listed on the National Register of Historic Places, as well as continue to support the activities and information the Historic Preservation Commission contributes to the community. And now therefore, Mayor Dan Tolan do hereby proclaims that the month of May as National Historic Preservation Month in the City of River Falls. And he urges all citizens to celebrate this observance and to support efforts to preserve and observe the community's many historic structures and stories in our community and in Wisconsin. Dated this day, 13th day of May, 2025.
Thank you. And Ms. Odine has the Poppy Day.
Yes. Whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers. Whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle. Whereas a nation at peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war. Whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary, a community of volunteers serving veterans, military, and their families, has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, Dan Tolan, Mayor of the City of River Falls, proclaims the 23rd day of May, 2025 as Poppy Day and asks that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. Given under his hand and seal of the City of River Falls this 13th day of May.
Thank you. Okay, next, we're gonna recess into closed session per Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 1E for the following purposes: deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. To wit, the fire service agreement with River Falls Rural Fire Association.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to move into closed session.
Second.
First
Mayor-
and second.
Mr. Mayor,
Can we take a roll call?
you can, just for purposes of disclosure to the public, I expect this to be a 15-minute closed session, and the council will reconvene into open session to vote on an action.
Okay.
Fierstead,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Page.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move into closed session then.